You know what's funny? The way they squirm when they see you smile without them. The way their faces twist when they realize their poison didn't kill you. It made you stronger. Oh, you want to know something absolutely hilarious? They spent years trying to break you, and now they're breaking themselves watching you put the pieces back together. Isn't that just perfect? Remember those nights when your phone would light up with their messages? Those sweet, sweet lies wrapped in concern, dripping with fake sympathy? Are you okay? They'd ask, hoping you'd say no, praying you'd still be drowning in the chaos they created. But here's the punchline. You're not just okay, you're thriving. And that's what's eating them alive. You see, they built their throne on your ruins, decorated their castle with your tears, and now they're watching it crumble because you finally learned to build your own kingdom. They never expected that, did they? They thought you'd stay broken, like a toy they could pull out whenever they needed a little boost to their ego. But you, oh, you beautiful chaos of resilience, you turned their game upside down. Every smile you wear now is a dagger in their facade. Every peaceful breath you take is a hurricane in their carefully constructed world of control. They're losing their minds trying to figure out how you manage to find serenity in their absence. It's like watching rats scramble when the ship starts sinking. Absolutely fascinating. Want to know the real joke? They thought they were performing surgery on your soul, cutting away pieces of you for their sick entertainment. But with every incision they made, your body learned to create something stronger, like a cancer patient whose cells mutate until they become immortal. They wanted to dissect you, study your pain, but instead, they created an aberration their scalpels can't penetrate. They didn't break you, they mutated you. And now that evolved form they helped create, it's the very thing their primitive tools can't touch anymore. You're probably wondering why they keep circling back, aren't you? Like vultures around a corpse, except, surprise. The corpse got up and started walking. They can't stand it. Their favorite victim refusing to play dead anymore. It's poetry, really. Dark, twisted, beautiful poetry. They fear your peace because it exposes their chaos. Your stability threatens their manipulative dance. They wanted you dependent, desperate, always reaching for their approval, like a drowning man reaches for air. But look at you now, breathing just fine without them. It's driving them mad, and isn't that just delicious? Every time you refuse to react to their provocations, it's like watching a fire starve for oxygen. They throw their matches, their gasoline, their perfect little inflammatory remarks, but nothing catches anymore. You've become fireproof, and they're burning themselves trying to ignite you. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so perfectly tragic. Here's a secret they don't want you to know. Your peace is their punishment. Your happiness is their torture. Your growth is their decay. While they're stuck playing the same old games, you're inventing new rules. While they're trying to write your story, you're authoring your own epic. And that right there is what terrifies them most. They expected you to stay in the hole they dug for you, wearing the chains they fastened so carefully. Instead, you turned that hole into a foundation and those chains into armor. Now they're standing there, tools in hand, wondering how their perfect trap became your perfect launching pad. The confusion on their faces, priceless. Remember how they used to love playing mind games? Twisting your reality until you couldn't trust your own thoughts? Well, look who's twisted now. They're the ones losing sleep, wondering why their old tricks don't work anymore. They're the ones checking their phones, hoping to see you crumbling. They're the ones whose reality is bending, breaking, shattering against the wall of your indifference. You want to know the best part of this whole comedy? They created their own nightmare. Every time they broke you, you learned how to heal stronger. Every time they left you alone, you learned to enjoy your own company. Every time they tried to dim your light, you learned to shine brighter. They were such dedicated teachers of pain. They never realized they were educating their own executioner. Your peace is a mirror now, reflecting back all their insecurities, their manipulations, their desperate need for control. And mirrors? They can't stand mirrors. They prefer shadows, darkness, places where they can hide from what they really are. But you stepped into the light, and your clarity is their kryptonite. You see, there's something absolutely beautiful about watching them realize they've lost their power. Like watching a magician's last trick fail in front of a crowded room. They wave their hands, speak their usual incantations of guilt and shame, but the rabbit stays in the hat. Their magic doesn't work anymore. And the audience? Oh, the audience is starting to see through the smoke and mirrors. The funny thing about peace? It's contagious. The very peace they feared you finding is spreading like a virus, infecting everyone around you with the dangerous idea that maybe, just maybe, they don't need their toxic touch either. You've become patient zero in an epidemic of self-worth, and they're scrambling for a cure that doesn't exist. Every step you take forward is a nail in the coffin of their influence. Every moment of joy you find without them is another crack in their carefully crafted illusion of importance. They're watching their kingdom of control crumble. And the best part? You're not even trying to destroy it. You're simply living, breathing, existing in your own light. And that natural radiance is enough to expose their artificial darkness. Want to hear something that'll really make you laugh? They're still telling their version of your story, painting themselves as the heroes who tried to save you from yourself. But their audience is shrinking, their credibility cracking like thin ice in spring. Because while they're busy crafting their narrative, you're out there writing your legacy in actions, in growth, in unshakable peace. And actions? Actions speak louder than their carefully rehearsed words ever could. Here's the thing about peace that really drives them insane. It's silent, like a poison that has no taste, no smell, yet kills their control so effectively. They're used to your screams, your tears, your desperate pleas for understanding. But this quiet strength you found, it's deafening to them. It's the kind of silence that makes them hear their own madness echoing back. You know what makes them wake up in cold sweats now? The realization that they've become irrelevant. Not hated, not loved, not even despised. Just irrelevant. Like obsolete software in a world that's moved on to better things. They were so busy trying to be the virus in your system that they never noticed you were evolving beyond their programming entirely. Every peaceful breath you take is like a countdown timer they can't stop. Tick, 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 watching their significance fade with each moment you spend healing. They created so many wounds in you, carved their initials into your soul like vandals marking their territory. But now, those scars are transforming into constellations, telling stories of survival they never meant to author. Remember how they used to love playing puppet master? Pulling your strings, making you dance to their twisted symphony of guilt and shame. Oh, but look at you now. You've become the nightmare of every puppeteer. A marionette that cut its own strings, grew its own limbs, and learned to walk in ways their limited minds couldn't fathom. You're a Frankenstein's monster that turned out beautiful, and it's destroying their entire narrative. They whisper about you, you know. In their little circles of toxicity, they spread their venomous theories about your transformation. It won't last, they say. They'll break eventually, they promise each other. But with each passing day, their whispers grow more desperate, more frantic. Because you're not just surviving, you're flourishing in ways their poisoned minds can't comprehend. Want to hear something truly delicious? They're starting to doubt their own power. Every time they try their old tricks on someone new, they remember how you became immune. You're like a living vaccine, your story spreading through their hunting grounds, making their potential victims just a little bit stronger, a little more resistant. You've turned their favorite hunting grounds into a memorial of their impotence. They're realizing now that they never understood the game they were playing. They thought they were demolition experts, carefully placing charges to bring you down. Instead, they were just cosmic architects, unknowingly designing the black hole that would eventually consume their own light. Every act of cruelty was just another mathematical equation, proving their own insignificance. The poetry of it all is almost too perfect. They spent so long trying to make you small, trying to fold you into a tiny origami version of yourself that they could pocket and control. But paper, once crumpled, never folds the same way twice. You've unfolded into something vast, something cosmic, something their tiny hands can't even grasp anymore. You're probably wondering if they ever lie awake at night, regretting what they did to you. But here's the punchline. Their regret isn't about hurting you. No, no, no. They regret teaching you how to turn pain into power. They regret showing you that rock bottom is just another foundation to build upon. They regret being the unwitting alchemists who taught you how to turn their poison into your medicine. Look at them now, scrambling to rewrite history. We were just trying to help, they say. Everything we did was for your own good, they claim. But their words ring hollow, like funeral bells in an abandoned church. Because while they're trying to edit the past, you're out there writing the future in a language their limitations can't comprehend. They fear your peace because it's proof of their failure. Every smile you wear is evidence that their best weapons couldn't kill your spirit. Every moment of joy you find is testimony to their incompetence. You've turned their attempted murder of your soul into a resurrection story they never saw coming. Here's what keeps them up at night: the knowledge that somewhere out there, you're sleeping soundly, while they toss and turn, haunted by the monster they failed to create. You're resting in the fortress of tranquility they accidentally helped you build. Their greatest fear isn't that you're doing well, it's that you're doing well without needing a single thing from them. The true masterpiece of your revenge isn't in what you do, it's in what you don't do anymore. You don't chase their approval, you don't decode their mixed signals, you don't interpret their silence or analyze their words. You've become a black hole to their chaos, absorbing their drama and turning it into nothing. They throw their stones into your ocean of peace and don't even get the satisfaction of seeing the ripples anymore. Want to know the final joke? The punchline that turns their comedy into a tragedy? You're not doing any of this to hurt them. You're not even doing it for revenge. You're simply existing in your truth, and that authentic existence is more devastating than any revenge could ever be. Your peace is a mirror they can't break, reflecting back the emptiness of everything they tried to fill you with. They fear that you're finding peace without them, because your peace proves they never had the power they thought they had. Every moment of your tranquility is a testimony to their irrelevance. And in the end, that's the most beautiful revenge of all. Becoming so whole that their attempts to break you become nothing more than footnotes in the epic story of how you learn to make art from their destruction. After all, what's funnier than turning their tragedy into your triumph? What's more poetic than using their darkness to learn how to glow? So smile, dear survivor. Smile with the peace they fear. Shine with the light they tried to dim, and laugh. Not because they hurt you, but because they failed to break you. That's the kind of punchline that echoes forever.